Let's get straight to it. Improvisation consists of two things, a melody and chords. Boiled down, that's what it comes to. The first main idea to really understand is that chords should always follow the melody and not the other way around. It is much harder to imagine chord progressions and finding melody notes that fit than it is thinking of a melody that sounds good and then matching chords underneath. And most of the time it doesn't even matter what chords you play nearly as much as the melody, just because people are mainly listening for the melody anyway. If you think of your favourite songs right now, do you first remember what the chord sequence is or what the melody sounds like? Exactly. Think of it this way. A good melody should be like rolling hills in a nice countryside with a river and nice trees blowing in the gentle breeze and flowers and you get the idea. It shouldn't be like a mountain range because that's too sharp and pointy. But equally, it shouldn't be like a flat salt plain because, well, that's boring and doesn't tell a story. A good melody will usually exploit the full range of the instrument to help create different feelings in the music, but also will allow time to let the music develop as to not bring about too much sudden change to cause alarm. If the melody is all over the place, like our mountain range over here, it will become confusing and hard to follow. But equally, if the melody is confined to only a small range of notes, like our flat salt plane over here, it will become very boring very quickly. Sorry, salt plane. Now, there are rare cases where you may want the melody to only be confined to a small group of notes, or if you want there to be huge changes in the music, but for this video, we're keeping it simple for now. So going on from ideas about melody, when you are thinking about improvising, try and take your mind away from the technicalities of playing a very difficult instrument and try and instead focus on the story you want your melody to go on. Do you want it to be a treacherous journey across lava lakes fighting dragons, for example? Or do you want it to be a nice gentle walk through the glaciers of Iceland? It really is only limited by your imagination. Now, I know that you could say that those scenarios sound a little bit cliche, and well, they are to a certain extent. But part of the fun of it is that you're not going to be telling the audience what you're thinking while you're playing. Anyone listening is going to come up with their own stories and their own theories as to what the music's about, and that's part of the beauty of it, really. I know there are a large group of people out there who struggle with thinking about melodies and knowing how they'll sound like before they try play them, and my advice for those people is that you don't need perfect pitch to be able to do this. All you need is a decent relative pitch. Relative pitch is effectively being able to go from any note, it doesn't matter what it is, and then being able to sing or hum the intervals around that note. I believe that any musician can develop this skill just with time and practice, and it is probably the most important aspect when it comes to improvisation. Take our treacherous journey across lava lakes, for example. We probably don't want the first chord played to be a nice gentle C major chord. We want something powerful or ominous, something like an E minor chord or even a diminished chord. Something with dissonance, because these will create feelings of darkness or uncertainty, which is exactly what we want anyone listening to feel going on from our storyline. With our other example of a nice gentle walk through glaciers of Iceland, maybe C major would be a good fit. Something diatonic, chords which are very consonant together, because these are more comforting to listen to and will make anyone listening more relaxed. One other type of cool chord that you could try with your improvisations are augmented chords. These are basically simple triads with a raised fifth. In my opinion, these chords work really well for improvisations with stories going through space or time travel or aliens. Augmented chords blend the line between major and minor chords, and it's a completely different type of dissonance as to what you'd get from a diminished chord, for example. What I'm getting at is improvisation is all about stories, and the beauty of it is that the stories can change at any point. You'll never be confined to any size box, any story, or any place. All the power is in your head, and when you start really thinking about what feelings you want to elicit from anyone listening, you're already well on the path to creating some really cool compositions. If you found this video useful, I think you'd also like my video explaining the most efficient method for learning pieces. Thanks for watching.